And this is a big CNN News 18 exclusive news break. We've accessed the leaflets found near Nagaon, Jammu and Kashmir. Top intelligence sources have told us that Jaish-affiliated terrorists reportedly attacked Red Fort. We know this metro yesterday, but the letter appears to have been issued under the name of a banned Pakistan-based terror outfit. What's in this letter? When does it date back to? Let's go straight across to Anand Narasimhan. Anand, what can you tell us?
Well, good afternoon, Rahul, and to our viewers. This is a letter dated the 17th of October 2025 where there is an internal warning. Now, this points to multiple aspects. One, there is something that's being planned in Bharat. Two, there is a warning that people should not leak this information or break ranks. Three, of severe punishment for those who do not follow the orders or who try and break away and try and leak information of whatever is being planned. And the third is, and fourthly, a reiteration of the commitment to try and commit and act these acts which are supposed to be mandated, and this must be done. Now, this Ansar Ghazwatul Hind, this being brought back into life, or the effort to try and resurrect it, and this connection from the erstwhile Zakir Musa and their connection with Jaish. They broke away from Hizbul Mujahideen. At that time, Zakir Musa had broken off, and there were connections re-established. At that time, they were these jihadi tanzeems in 2016, 2017 were competing with each other. So Hizbul was competing with Jaish, with Lashkar, and there was growing influence, and there were also those who believed that they wanted to do something different. But now they're all aligned, they're all collaborating, contributing in terms of resources, logistics, OGWs, etc. The white-collared OGWs now have turned white-collared terrorists. They are also implementing these actions, so not just facilitating.
So there it is, viewers. Of course, we're going to put a watermark over these pictures because, of course, this is exclusive material. But very quickly, Anand, this is that poster that was being splattered across all over Kashmir, and that's what really brought this entire conspiracy into the foreground, because one of these individuals who was posting these posters turned out to be affiliated to that module. And that module is the Faridabad module. So just go back on this and give us a quick...
Well, see, action hoga agar, and mentions punishment by the Amira or the commander. Now, this is written in Urdu, but this is what the interpretation is. The tone indicates that there is internal mistrust within the local Jaish network, that somebody would break ranks. There is also consistent pressure from recent counter-insurgency operations in Jammu and Kashmir. But this poster was put out just to try and say that don't break ranks, don't try and be disloyal, and those who are supposed to be part of a Jaish network locally are supposed to work together. This text claims to communicate an internal directive or warning, and it mentions retaliation, loyalty and action against individuals allegedly betraying the organization. Now, these were the leaflets that were found in Nagaon, and after that, the investigation was actually mounted. And Adil was also seen putting out certain posters which were in Pulwama and in that region. But more importantly, once this came out, these posters were put out in Nagaon, clearly it was sure that the Jaish was activating its local cadre here and its local recruits here.
Well, just stay on with me. I want to quickly go across to Ishan Bani if he's still there with us. And this is how the Jammu and Kashmir police, after seeing individuals posting these or pasting these posters on walls, began to unravel this entire chronology, which is left, of course, to us to now determine whether it was connected in any which way. And from all visible indications, Anand, it does appear. We don't quite have Ishan right now, but Anand, so 3 OGWs were involved in pasting all this material, this warning from Jaish to perhaps its cadres in Kashmir to say, look, toe the line, don't break ranks, do what is told to you, right? That's what's happened.
And these are chronic stone pelters of the past. So these 3 were stone pelters. Ishan getting us these details. Arif Nisar Dar, alias Sahil. He is a resident of Nagaon in Srinagar.
Okay, so
Yasirul Ashraf.
Just hold on, because I have Ishan. I'll just go back to him. We were trying to get him on. I didn't mean to cut you off, Anand. Just give me 30 seconds. I just want to go straight across to Ishan. Ishan, this poster that was being pasted across Kashmir is the key, really, to this entire investigation, because it's from there. Now, just talk us through a little bit about Arif Nisar Dar, alias Sahil, resident of Nagaon, Srinagar. Yasirul Ashraf, resident of Naugam, Srinagar, Maqsood Ahmed Dar, alias Shahid, resident of Naugam, Srinagar. These are three individuals you were talking about, the OGWs, weren't they? So how do they all link into this?
Well, they were all part of this group. They were in their Telegram chats. They were part of this group which was planning for a very long time. But they were told, possibly by Dr. Adil, to paste these posters. And on finding these posters, police thrusted upon basic policing that we need to know that who are these people who have been pasting these posters. Though there are posters which appear from time to time, but very rarely. Since there has been a massive crackdown on these elements, there are rarely any posters which are pasted. But what generally these handlers do, they paste a poster, send it to their handler across, and then remove it so that they don't get nabbed. And what happened in this case is that the posters stayed there, and then police was alerted about these posters. They checked through CCTV footages. They got hold of these three persons. They were able to identify them. They have a history of being involved in stone pelting at security forces in the past. They've also worked as an overground workers, and that's from where entire thing started. Then happened.
So can you tell me when these individuals
this
were
person
released,
who is a local
and under
imam,
what circumstances were they released?
They must have been possibly on bail, or they were released in a very long time ago, because these are not new cases. Chronic stone pelting hasn't taken place post 2019. They must have been involved in stone pelting between 15, 14, 13. In some cases, they might have been also minors at that point of time. So they might have gone to rehabilitation centers, and then later on, security forces might have also consulted them and tried to ensure that they fit in the society once again. But that didn't happen in this case, and this actually led, I wanted to point out, to this cleric in Shopian who's called Maulvi Irfan, and on his questioning, he was the first person who was able to provide solid leads to the security forces to really what is happening. He was in the know-how of the things. He knew that there is a group which is functioning very discreetly on Telegram. They are chatting on this platform because it is hard for forces to crack. It's highly encrypted. And then came the names of Dr. Adil, then a person from Gandarbal identified as Zamir Ahmed, who was close to this imam, was also held. He led them to Muzammil, and this entire modus operandi was unearthed. But yes, there could also be possibly, because police yesterday said it's a joint link between Jaish and ISIS. So this means that two different ideologies who are differently trying to eye Jammu and Kashmir and India are coming and clubbing together for something like what happened in Delhi yesterday.
I'm just going to go across to Arunima, but before that, I just want to bring in Anand. Anand, look, there are two aspects to this big breaking news, this big exclusive that we've put out. One is, of course, that there has been, once again, after elections in Jammu and Kashmir, a demand that political prisoners, which is a euphemism for pelters, etc., should be released. And that means that you can never be sure when they're back in society if they're going to be rehabilitated, integrated, or whether they consider themselves even part of the country and its apparatus. And secondly, of course, most importantly, that once again, you have a Maulvi through whom the indoctrination has taken place. So very, very quick views on that before I bring in Arunima. Yes.
Well, like General Pandey, former GOC 15 Corps says, Jammu and Kashmir currently shant hai, par wahan shanti nahi hai. That means that they are quiet right now. That doesn't mean that that is the equivalent of peace. The other thing is that it's not just Telegram, Rahul and Ishan. There are so many other platforms, encrypted platforms, where communication is happening. We don't even know of those platforms. But how does this tie this entire chain of events? Imagine had the JK police not stumbled upon this poster, not arrested those OGWs, not stumbled on Maulvi Irfan, not caught Zahir Ahangar, and then via them Dr. Azil. And from Azil, who was picked up in Kazigand, and from Kazigand, he was picked up in Saharanpur. He had just moved to that government for hospital in Saharanpur. Look at this. They organizedly move from government medical colleges and also the local medical facilities, hospitals in Jammu and Kashmir, to hospitals and universities, etc., outside of Jammu and Kashmir.
That's right.
And then take this forward into the hinterland beyond Jammu and Kashmir, into the rest of Bharat. And these are white-collar terrorists, so that means they are highly radicalized, highly motivated, and also patient. But they are Jaish motivated, and they are Jaish cadre.
Well,
so we know where the radicalization, where the instigation comes from.
So viewers, those that are demanding the release of these so-called political prisoners, viewers, are perhaps not being very pragmatic. That's all I can say here. But